In the early night, Frodo awoke to find Strider sitting alert in his chair, his eyes gleaming in the light of the fire. He soon went to sleep again, but his dreams were disturbed with the noise of wind and galloping hoofs. In the morning, Strider roused them all and led the way to their bedrooms. The windows had been forced open, the beds tossed about, and the bolsters slashed and flung upon the floor. The mats were torn to pieces. And every horse and beast in the stable gone.
Never has such a thing happened in my time. What are we coming to?
Dark times. We will leave at once. We shall be packed in a few minutes. Ponies won't help us escape horsemen. How much are you prepared to carry on your backs?
As much as we must.
All right.
I can carry enough for two.
Oh.
Finally, they purchased a half-starved pony from Bill Ferny, loaded it up with as much of their baggage as they had a heart to give it, and at last left the village behind. On the third day, they came out of a wood and entered a wide, flat expanse of country, much more difficult to manage. The ground now became damp, and the flies began to torment them. The air was full of tiny midges that crept up their sleeves and breeches and into their hair.
I'm being eaten alive. You call this place Midgewater? There are more midges than water.
Oh, Mr. Frodo, what do they live on when they can't get hobbits? Ooh, take that. Snap, that.
The next day, the 4th, was a little better, and on the 5th they left the last straggling pool and reed bed behind them. The land before them began steadily to rise again. The highest of the hills in the distance was a little separated from the others. It had a conical top, slightly flattened at the summit.
That's Weathertop. The old road which we have left far away passes not far from its foot. It's not certain what we shall find there. It's close to the road.
But surely you were hoping to find Gandalf there.
Yes, but the hope is faint. Unless by luck we arrive almost together. If the riders fail to find us in the wilderness, they're likely to make for Weathertop.
Already the hobbits were getting used to much walking on short rations. Shorter at any rate than what in the Shire they would have thought barely enough to keep them on their legs.
Oh. You know, Frodo, you're looking twice the hobbit that you used to.
Very odd, considering there is actually a good deal less of me. I hope the thinning process won't go on indefinitely, or I shall become a wraith.
Don't speak of such things.
I wonder who made this path and those stones. I'm not sure I like it. It has a barrow whitish look.
No, there is no barrow on Weathertop, nor on any of these hills. The men of the West did not live here. In the days of the North Kingdom, they built a great watchtower on Weathertop. Amon Sul, they called it. It was burned and broken, and nothing remains of it now but a tumbled ring, like a rough crown on the old hill's head. It is told that Elendil stood there, watching for the coming of Gil-galad out of the west, in the days of the last alliance.
Gil-galad was an elven king. Of him the harpers sadly sing. The last whose realm was fair and free, between the mountains and the sea. I learned that from Mr. Bilbo when I was a lad. There's a lot more all about Mordor. I didn't learn that part. Ugh, it gave me the shivers. I never thought I should be going that way myself.
Going to Mordor? I hope it won't come to that.
Don't speak that name so loudly.
On the western flank of Weathertop, they found a sheltered hollow at the bottom of which there was a bowl-shaped dell with grassy sides. There they left Sam with the pony and their packs and luggage. On the top they found a cairn of broken stones had been piled. They were blackened as with fire. About them the turf was burned to the roots, and all within the ring the grass was scorched and shriveled as if flames had swept the hilltop. But there was no sign of any living thing.
Oh, well, here we are, and very cheerless and uninviting it looks. And no sign of Gandalf.
I wonder. Even if he was a day or two behind us, he could have arrived here first. Here, look at this stone. It's flatter than the others, and whiter, as if it escaped the fire.
Oh, there's some scratches on it. There seems to be a stroke, a dot, and 3 more strokes.
It could be a rune, a G rune. The scratches are fine and certainly fresh, but the marks might mean something. I should say they stand for G3, and were a sign that Gandalf was here on October the 3rd, 3 days ago now. It would also show that he was in a hurry, and danger was at hand, so that he had no time or did not dare to write longer. I guess that he was attacked on this hilltop, but with what result I can't tell. He's here no longer, and we must now look after ourselves and make our own way to Rivendell as best we can. It will take us a fortnight, and we won't be able to use the road.
Look down the road there. See those 2 black specks going westward? And see there 3 others creeping eastward to meet them.
Down!
What is it?
I don't know. Let me look again. Yes, the enemy is here, assembling on the road beyond the foot of the hill.
We found some firewood. I wonder if old Gandalf put it here. But hadn't we better clear out quick, Mr. Strider? This hole makes my heart sink somehow.
The road is watched, and the land beyond the hills is bare and flat for miles. Those horses can see, and their riders use men and other creatures as spies. They smell the blood of living things, desiring it and hating it. Also the ring draws them. Fire is our only friend in the wilderness. These riders do not love it.
Maybe. It's also as good a way of saying, here we are, as I can think of except shouting it.
The cold increased as darkness came on. Peering out from the edge of the dell, they could see nothing but a grey land vanishing quickly into shadow. Frodo and his companions huddled round the fire, but Strider was content with a single cloak and sat a little apart, drawing thoughtfully on his pipe. He chanted a love ballad of the meeting of Tinuviel and Beren as the moon began to rise. Sam and Mary got up and walked away from the fire. All seemed quiet, except that Frodo felt a cold dread creeping over his heart.
I don't know what it is, but I suddenly felt afraid. I felt that something was creeping up the slope.
Keep close to the fire. Hush!
What's that? What are those dark shapes? Oh!
I must put on the ring. I must put it on. I must put on the ring. I must put on the ring.
The ring slipped on Frodo's finger, and immediately the shapes became terribly clear. There were 5 tall figures. In their white faces burned keen and merciless eyes. Under the mantles were long grey robes. Upon their grey hairs were helms of silver. In their haggard hands were swords of steel. Their eyes fell upon him and pierced him as they rushed towards him. Desperate, he drew his own sword, and it flickered red as if it was a firebrand. One of the figures, taller than the others, his hair long and gleaming, and on his helm a crown. In one hand he held a long sword, and in the other a knife. Both the knife and the hand that held it glowed with a pale light. He sprang forward and bore down on Frodo.
Oh, Elbereth! Gilthoniel! My shoulder!
Away!
Even as Strider leaped out of the darkness with a flaming brand in either hand, Frodo, with a last effort, dropping his sword, slipped the ring from his finger and closed his right hand tight upon it.